Catch up on all the action at Boston Pizza, Canada's favorite sports bar. It's time to bring the cup home.
Yeah.
Now we lost a Canadian team last night.
We did.
We're trying to get all the Canadian teams together and power our way to a cup.
Oh, that's not doom and gloom enough, Adam. We lost 25% of the Canadian teams in these playoffs last night.
So that means we got to fold the Winnipeg fans into the rest of us. Go to Boston Pizza, get some of their playoff menu. Lots of shareables on it.
You're all cheering for your favorite teams, the Leafs, the Canucks, and the Oilers.
We're not saying it won't be hard. This year Canada is taking back our nation's game, and Boston Pizza will be the host of it all. The beer will be flowing, the atmosphere will be electric, and we can't wait to host you. Let's come together and cheer for the win. We want this thing to come home to Canada, and it's Canada's biggest sports bar, Boston Pizza. Let's start the show.
SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
I can't remember if we mentioned that like if you didn't catch the Saturday podcast, that we were at a Boston Pizza and in Bowmanville, home of the Bowmanville Bruins.
Yes. It was confusing, and their colors are blue and white.
That's really confusing.
It was like the dude with the leaf on top of the Bruins logo.
Right.
It's upsetting.
It is. And, you're not sure what to do with yourself, but it was delicious food. So, you get over it. All right. So today I fully expected this to be a funeral, and it isn't.
Is that why we wore black?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I also think I find it slimming. So that's why I'm wearing my black. But guys,
hot. It looks hot.
Guys, the Toronto Maple Leafs are alive.
They're so back.
And you think they're back?
They're so back. No, you know what? It was over.
Uh-huh.
It was very Jover. But now I think we've never been more back.
Simply the backest we've ever been.
The backest we've ever been.
Baby got back.
In the series.
That's right.
Matthew Nyes, who was friggin' awesome. All game. And I think there's a couple teams looking to shake their reputation as playoff chokers. Mm-hmm. The great thing is that one of them has to win and one of them has to lose.
Are you talking about the Bruins shaking themselves as playoff chokers?
How many consecutive games where they could eliminate an opponent have they lost?
Is that 5 now?
Well, 3 against the Panthers.
Okay, 4.
1 against the Leafs, so 4. And then I don't know how 2022 shook out.
You got to go back to the previous playoffs.
Let me go look.
I'll do it.
No,
It's
Jesse's
okay.
going to go look. He's on a laptop. Who did they even play in 2022? Trying to remember.
I can't remember either, but
I bet they choked, though. I bet they choked. That's all they do is choke. They did it again. They could have wrapped it in 5.
Yep. Just like everybody thought, the Bruins are the ones we're talking about choking.
100%. They could have wrapped it in Game 5 in overtime in Boston, but they blew it. But enough about last year's series against the Panthers. Matthew Nyes with the winner.
What do you got,
this
Jess?
one.
Bruins Panthers. It was in 2022.
Oh,
again?
No, Bruins Carolina. Sorry, that was 2023. Bruins Carolina's 2022. They lost in 7 games.
So
were they the team who was up 3-2?
But either way, Steve, the 7th game is an elimination.
Yeah, there's at least one.
True. So 5.
Yeah.
Bruins Hurricanes. The Bruins had to win Game 6.
Okay.
So
5 straight.
Yeah.
5 straight games where they could have won a series. And they've lost all of them. There's a team that I believe is near and dear to our hearts, who we often criticize for things of that nature. And the Bruins, the Leafs have won an elimination game a lot more recently than that.
Stop it.
I don't remember that series at all.
I don't either.
Hurricanes in 2022. Wow.
Not a single thing.
No.
Sorry. I don't remember every series.
The last Bruins playoff series win is 2021. They beat the Caps in the first round. That's the 2020-2021 season.
Wow.
Wait, they haven't made it to
The second round since 2021. If you include this year, they haven't made it yet. So it's 2 consecutive seasons they lost in the first round.
Oh, boy.
Man, I can't imagine what that's like.
No,
Couldn't be
not
me.
us.
Not us.
Imagine. Can you imagine?
The Leafs have been to the second round more recently than the Bruins.
Listen,
That is
hey,
factual
whoa,
information.
hey,
So-
whoa, hey. Listen, let us talk our shit. We deserve to.
Well, okay. I do want to say this.
No.
You can talk. You can enjoy, but I think that this game was the reason why people were so upset after Game 4, because you know that the talent is there, and you know that they weren't bringing it.
Dude,
You know.
it happens so often. They're like, oh, guess we got to buckle down. Like their record, they posted it during the broadcast. Their record without Matthews is stupid. And one of the things they always do so well, even though Matthews is like an extremely good defensive forward, is they lock it down. They start paying attention to details. They missed details once in this damn game, and it cost them a goal.
Yeah, that Trent Frederick goal. Ugh. They only had the first or second shot of the game for the Bruins?
It was
too?
their second shot of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Second shot. Wool had as many. He was arguably the Leafs' first star, and heading into the second period, he had as many saves as he had goals allowed.
Wow.
And like they got some saves. They played tidy defense. Max Domi really elevated his game, going from not playing center really to
Centering the top line.
first line center is pretty difficult. I like Mitch's game.
Here's what Max Domi said. Playing for our lives, we weren't going to be denied.
Oh,
I love that quote. That's a good quote.
come on.
Are you going through the game? Are we doing the normal thing?
Do you want to go through it period by period?
Nope. Canucks Preds.
So I think the first thing is that obviously you get that initial jump in the first period, and the way that the Leafs come out, again, this is why Leaf fans get so upset.
I know.
And that's why it's so frustrating when Sheldon Keefe's like, you can't question the effort, because this game is proof that you can question the effort.
I will kick you down the stairs.
Right?
Yes.
It's proof. Like they came out and they were shot out of a cannon and they were awesome. And they get when you play like that, when you create turnovers, when you create opportunities, you get weird goals.
Dude, you know what they did to lead to the first goal for the first time this damn series? Drove the net.
Well, not just that, both goals. But
Yeah.
But you get weird goals. You get Jake McCabe with a floater, and somehow it gets
That
in.
shouldn't go in. That shouldn't go in.
But there are goals like that in the NHL because it's a flying disc that are going to go in.
The Leafs were so good at taking away Andrei Vasilevsky's eyes last year, and they haven't done a lick of that. It's the same coach. It's mostly the same personnel. If anything, the Leafs team this year is better built, especially in the top 6, to do what they did last year. And there's just been none of it. None of it. They've been winning faceoffs all series. How ironic is it that Mitch Marner helped? He assisted on a goal off a set play off a draw.
I guess they work sometimes.
Maybe he was right. And it was William Nylander who was wrong.
Uh-huh.
The thing I think about that first goal that I think about the most is Max Domi's first period faceoff stats. Like that's how they got that first goal. He wins that faceoff, but
9-1, I think.
I think it was 9-1. It was 9 for 11.
That's
or something like
crazy.
that.
Stupendous.
He was unreal in the faceoff dot, and that was a faceoff win. Mitch Marner passes it back right to McCabe, and it goes in. And seeing everybody step up in place of Matthews just so early on was incredible to see. And you saw there was playing with a sense of urgency, and like you come out playing with that. And the Bruins looked nervous very early on. And if we get to the next part after that's the Trent Frederick goal, like I don't blame the Leafs for that goal at all. It hit off a heel.
Well,
the heel of a skate.
Robertson was doing a lot of standing around, but
He was,
yeah.
but I feel like everybody was kind of in position. Like I get like you want to go up the boards, but if they said it on the broadcast, if a guy's open in the middle of the ice and you pass the puck, you take that pass every single time.
How about this? Stop going up the boards.
Right.
It keeps costing you. Stop it.
We're talking about a random little disc that's floating on ice, hit off the back of a skate heel, and it went in the net after a shot.
And
Like,
Trent
that's
Frederick,
okay.
but though I'll give Trent Frederick credit. He was in front of the net.
Yep.
And the Leafs were not sending people to the front of the net most of this series.
Like maybe their most offensively dangerous player through 5 games. He should have had 2.
Yeah.
Last night, but Joseph Woll said no.
And the other thing that was absent from the first period for the Leafs were stupid penalties.
Mm-hmm.
You had one penalty called in the first period, and it was against Boston. The Leafs power play still didn't look great.
No, it's horrendous.
Throughout the game, it didn't look great.
So someone posted a stat in the chat last night during the stream. Shout out to everyone who watched the stream, by the way, that the Leafs were only getting outscored 5-on-5, 7-6 in the series. They were getting outscored 5-1 on special teams. That is such bad news for the Bruins, especially losing game 5. Because next game is game 6. And if you don't win that, it's game 7. And you're going to get arbitrarily assigned some referee, a crew of guys. You're not going to get one of the new guys. You're not going to get Garrett Rank or any of that. Well, exactly. He's not getting game 7. He might. I don't think so. Watch. He's going to get assigned in something. Something's going to happen.
But I don't know who this is. Who is Garrett Rank?
Well, he's one of the younger refs.
There you go.
Right? You're going to get, Steve Kazari last night, who I thought did a great job. Did anyone else? Steve Kazari did a great job. Brave. A brave job is what he did.
Oh, God.
And that's what you're going to get in game 5. And that's what you're going to get in game 6. And that's what you're going to get in game 7. The whistle's going away for the first time in years is music to the Leafs' ears. Don't even look at the ref. Someone slashes you, don't even look. They're not calling it, and don't ask them to call it because then you're going to get it. Don't even look at them. You don't want to be on the power play. It sucks. You don't want them to put you on the penalty kill. It sucks. Oh, the Bruins. They're doing a lot of shimmying, a lot of shaking, and they're falling deeper and deeper into that quicksand. It's delicious.
The Bruins have trailed for a grand total of 20 minutes and 42 seconds through 5 games this series.
I'm surprised it's that much.
It's pretty wild. But they did trail in the first. And obviously in the second period, it was a bit of a penalty palooza. And the Bruins did start to kind of claw back. The Leafs had outshot them so much in the first period. You started to see a little bit more Boston Bruins hockey. Although they took, really, it was. So I'm looking at the penalties here. Nylander, Maroon in the first couple of minutes, the two of them, and then Coyle, Edmondson, Marchand all at the same time. Somehow the Leafs ended up. I understood why Boston Bruins fans were booing that. I didn't. I got why they were upset about that.
Hey, are you gonna take that? NHL head off. Are you gonna take that? Listen, I could never.
You could never?
I could never. Toronto, put yourself in that position. I could never. I could absolutely never treat an official like that. Shocking behavior.
You mean Brad Marchand screaming at the official?
The way he attacked that official and and the official defended themselves?
I thought Brad Marchand got clobbered.
Oh,
according to Jack Edwards.
No, it was Joe Bowen, wasn't it?
No. It was
Jack Edwards?
Said the officials clobbered.
There were
Marchand.
so many great calls last night that I don't remember them all. But
yeah,
Jack Edwards calling Steve Kazari a coward after the second period was hilarious. And listen, that is a lot of people are like, that's really funny. A lot of people got way too high up on their high horse and how could you? Okay, all right, relax. But that's going to play so poorly internally in the NHL.
Oh, what do you mean, the call?
Oh.
Or Brad Marchand yelling at the ref? Because I think Brad Marchand's got enough banknotes at the Bank of Goodwill.
No, the call. The call from Jack Edwards. But he's doing what every person who's retiring should do.
Burning every bridge on the way out?
Forget it. Forget it. What are you going to do? Fire me? Here we go. No, every Leaf fan should.
It's like a painting.
Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, for everybody listening, it's the shot of the official holding Brad Marchand on the ice. And he saw a red mist when he hit the ice, and he realized that it was an official who grabbed him and threw him down. Like, I thought he was going to snap in that moment. And he, like, for a split second, he realized, like, oh, I can't punch this guy in the face. That's not a Leaf.
A lot of people calling him a diver for this. I'm not sure.
No, he was like kind of falling, and the official came in and swooped him right to the ground. It was
just
awful.
whacked him.
Yeah.
And like the other great thing, about everyone.
It's a big hit.
He really, yeah, he eats shit.
Yeah, he was trying to get him away from Nyes there.
Everyone had to step up, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, Marchand, the officials. Oh, look at him. They're focusing too much on Marchand." I'm like, Pontus Holmberg?
Mm-hmm. Who got the other penalty?
Yeah, but I love Pontus. Thank you. I'll take
Good
that
trade.
That's a fucking awesome trade. Hey, we'll trade you Pontus Holmberg for Brad Marchand 1-for-1. Welcome aboard, Brad. Welcome aboard. Here's your jersey. 63 is available. Here you go. Are you kidding me?
I said Nyes. It's Holmberg.
Yeah. No, I'll take that trade too. Even though I loved Nyes last night, like it is Holmberg all over him. I am just really quietly starting to. Well, I'm not quiet about it at all, but he is quietly putting together some really, really good games. You want more from his game? Like, oh man, some more offense would be great.
I'm just going to say a few more goals.
It'd be great. But this guy as just sort of a gritty pain in the ass. I think he needs, and like you can't address this until next season, really. I want him to have bigger line mates. I think if they had Bobby McMahon, who we haven't heard that name in a while, they talked about him potentially coming back for Game 6 earlier this series. Guess what tomorrow is? Game 6, I would love one of Nyes or McMahon with Holmberg because I think a little bit more size on that line and you keep the speed of Yarncroke could make it really effective.
So we are jumping ahead here, but I one of the things you talked about Nyes right off the top, and I think it's important that we highlight him. David Pastrnak in a scrum was going after Morgan Rielly. And Matthew Nyes, who's a big boy, stepped in and he said, no, you're not going to go him. Go me. Go me.
That's what I thought.
And then when Pastrnak doesn't want to do it, he pushes him and goes, that's what I thought. And I think
that's the Bruins playbook.
That's the Bruins playbook used against them. That's what. And awesome. Also, I can't see Pastrnak fighting because I think that's a stupid trade for the Bruins. You need Pastrnak on the ice.
Yeah. And if you're Nyes, you know that. And you ignore that very obvious fact and talk your shit. Talk your shit. It's awesome. It's hilarious. And also, like, I don't care who you are. You can go me. Bo Horvat got into a fight with a Leaf this season. Do you remember who it was?
No.
Simone Benoit.
Oh, there you go.
What? Pardon?
Yeah. Gretzky had fights. I'm just saying.
You won't do it. You won't do it. You didn't do it. Yeah, talk your shit. It's the playoffs.
It was, I don't know how much it did for the game. I don't know if it was like, because there are times when Brad Marchand, especially at the height of the Bergeron era and the Chara era, where he could go in and he could change a game by doing something like that, right? I don't know if this changed the game, but it certainly gave Matthew Nyes a bit of a pep. He seemed fired up.
His pep was from opening whistle. Like all that stuff about, the college lungs or, he doesn't have the stamina for this. Not last night. No, last night he was awesome. Last night he was going. And, earlier in the series we talked about, John Tavares playing pretty well. And, Mitch not having the best game on his line. I mean, Matthew Nyes was part of that. And we found that he has another gear. And how about this ridiculousness? It's the last 4 or 5. Every single overtime winner the Leafs have scored since signing Matthew Nyes to an NHL contract, he was on the ice for. He scored last night. They didn't win any in overtime against the Panthers. Whoops. Game 6 against the Lightning, he was on the ice. He helped set up Tavares. He might have gotten an assist. I'm not sure. the Kerfoot goal, he was on with the second power play unit, who scored. And the Riley goal, he was on the ice. O'Reilly won it back to Riley. Dude, this guy is clutch. It's awesome. I love this kid. And it's crazy. They go, oh yeah, and he's 21. I go, oh, sometimes you forget.
Yeah.
You forget.
A precious boy.
In the ramp up to the playoffs, you forget.
Yep.
Because it's all about now. That had me thinking about the future, and I went, oh.
Yeah. Jesse mentioned
by the time he's 25, he's going to be a problem.
Jesse mentioned it a couple times too. And I think when he's at his best, guys, I would say that he creates space and creates chaos, and he's a big body and skates well and all the things that you would want from a power forward, right?
Yes.
That's a great sort of archetype for what a power forward should be. And he was a factor in the Florida Panthers series last year until again he was intentionally concussed, and I will stick to my guns on that one. There's no doubt about it. Watch the play. Yep, so how do we feel? So we're going into the third period here. I know we jumped around a little bit, but I want to ask how you guys felt between second intermission and the start of the third period. How did you feel about it?
I don't think the play changed that much from what happened in the first. Like, it was tilted towards the Leafs ice. And the thing about all those opportunities on the power play is that they never capitalized on them. That was the most frustrating thing. It felt like a game where the Leafs were going to outplay Boston and have all of the chances, and then they're going to get burned on a Boston goal. But thank God they got Joseph Woll, who stood in there, who was consistently throughout the game, not just in the overtime where he started and he literally saved their season. Like, I thought in the second there, he was huge. And thank goodness he's there to save them, because if they continued to not capitalize on all of those power plays, they were going to lose that season. And they got the timely goal in OT. But yeah, heading into the third, it felt like if they don't get one here, it's going to be a disaster.
To your point about Joseph Woll, did you guys feel like this team just played? I mean, first off, they played with urgency and they actually came out and, hey, by the way, that is how you're supposed to play playoff hockey every game. Mm-hmm. I want to reiterate that. Mm-hmm. That can't be like playoff hockey. Every game is like that, fighting for every puck, doing it. That's what the Leafs did last night. We need to see that consistently. But I do want to say, when they needed a save, they got one, and some really tricky ones that were not easy, and ones that you're like, sometimes it's like the play breaks down, the mistake happens, you need the save.
They cleared some rebounds too.
They did.
It's almost like defense is like, you ever think about walking while you're walking? No, just me.
No, I don't think about it.
Oh, well, some weird people like me are listening right now. It messes you up. You start thinking too much about how your legs are moving.
What your gait is?
Yeah, you start feeling stupid. Are my hips aligned? You start feeling dumb. And I almost wonder if that's how the Leafs play defense in front of Samsonov. They think so much about it that they do it shitty. They think so much about it that they do it poorly. And last night just felt a lot more natural. And really, they only missed the one assignment. Like, everything that the Bruins got that led to a big save, I generally felt was their doing. You know what I mean? Like, the Bruins earned it rather than so much of the first 4 games of the series felt like the Leafs just gave it to them.
Oh, yeah.
Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like the Leafs had to work so the calories spent per goal.
Yep.
For Toronto versus Boston, the difference is wild. Like, what the Leafs had to do to get anything on Swayman, let alone past him, versus what the Bruins had to do to score. We were talking about it, like, assuming the Bruins 1-5, they're going to play against Florida, and they're going to be fresh as a daisy. They haven't had to work for anything. Mm-hmm. And they had to work last night. It's kind of nice.
I think you're still a little too hard on Robertson on the Trent Frederick goal. He was in position. The puck hit off a skate.
Yeah,
but he was very much in position. He was in front of the net. But with the chances that the Bruins had, the Leafs had, that they didn't capitalize on. The Max Domi 2-on-1, where he literally did not shoot at any point during his 30-second just glide up the ice. It was ridiculous. William Nylander coming out of the box having the
Oh,
breakaway
yeah.
that hit off the post. And then Bertuzzi fed Mitch in front of the net. He had a one-timer that he whiffed on. And then Mitch Marner drifting across the middle of the whole zone, trying to make a pass. It goes off a Bruins player, getting the puck back, and then making another pass across the entire zone to Calle Yarncroke, who whiffs on the one-timer. Like, they had all of these opportunities, and it felt like they needed to capitalize it, and they wouldn't get one. They were going to lose, but then they held for it. It was good.
Here, watch Coach Dangle here. Max, you got a 2-on-1 next time, go blocker. It's going in. It's 100% going
Whoa, you're going anti-Gunnar Stahl.
Yeah, no.
Gunnar Stahl he was too fancy. He went glove side.
He's fancy. He'll go glove. No, because glove is on the side that Tyler Bertuzzi was on. And Swayman's like, yeah, nice try, Max. And he just cheated that way. Maybe you'll get 5-hole. Maybe.
Max has a good little snapshot, too.
A tidy goalie, too. Well, when he did that little leg kick, I'm like, that's a shootout move. He's going to shoot. Nope.
It would never even look. Even when he tried to fake, he was faking to the pass. It was awful.
So his body was cheated towards Bertuzzi the whole time.
And he's looking at him in the eye.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, you shoot that and you shoot it towards the not Tyler Bertuzzi side of the net, it's going in.
Yeah.
It's going in.
He never had that thought in his mind.
Max, shoot it. Shoot it.
So throughout the third period, it's a bit of a shoving match, a bit of a, like a tied arm wrestle. You're just kind of holding on, right? I have to say I was pretty zen throughout the third period, just because my heart rate was down because the stupid chances per 60 were so down in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Boston earned the chances that they got. The Leafs didn't give it to them. We didn't get anything like Marchand, Pasternak with TJ Brody making a dive at the blue line to try to break up the play.
Yeah.
Like, none of that. And TJ Brody notably was out of the lineup again. And I think rightfully so. Liljegren, I think, was hurt, but is back.
I don't think he was.
He downplayed that he was injured, but like, Evander Kane did the same thing a few weeks ago, and then we find out, he's got a sports hernia. So
but I feel like Liljegren felt like he could have played through it.
Yeah?
Yeah, well,
That's
I
based
guess
on his comments.
I guess the argument is like, all right, you got 100% of TJ Brody, or like, I don't know, 60, 70, 80% of Liljegren, but I think we've landed on the injured Liljegren's better.
Yeah, and I think this game proved that it was weird that Brody went in retrospect.
Yeah,
it's
I understand it, but
Yeah.
well, it's weird because it was weird when they took 68 games before they scratched him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's that was the new Justin Hall, where it's like you're putting a player in a position where they maybe at one point they had the abilities to succeed in the positions you're putting them in, but they don't right now.
coaching staff had a really good game.
They did.
Really good game. Like the deployment. Liljegren, I thought, had a really good game.
Hold on. Let's focus on the coaching staff here.
What I'm saying is Liljegren being in there, moving the puck, helped generate offense. You need to find offense elsewhere if Matthews isn't friggin' playing. You also just need to find it in general in the series. Liljegren did a good job of that. Go look at Morgan Riley's ice time. Like the forward group, it's not like the Leafs rolled four lines, but it's also not like they completely leaned on like Marner. Marner was like third in ice time or something like that. A lot of the offense and puck moving came from Riley, who just had green light. And there was a ridiculous stat from Kevin Papetti. Ilya Lyubushkin hasn't been on the ice for a 5-on-5 goal against, and he's second on the team in, wait for it, scoring.
Yeah.
He has 3 assists, which ties him for second on the team in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
It's madness.
Marner, third on the team in time on ice. Behind JT, Willie, Marner, top 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is amongst forwards. If you add defensemen, Riley played 26. He led the team.
26.
As you would
Look how
expect.
much he bloody played.
Yeah.
But that was the best Morgan Riley game of the series. And
easily.
he was so good last year in the playoffs against Tampa and against Florida. After a rough year fighting injuries and that sort of thing. It was something that I was looking for going into this series was how good was Morgan Riley going to be. And I felt like a lot of the plays have gone through Mitch Marner. And seeing them go through Morgan Riley last night, what I liked about it is they set up faster.
Oh yeah.
It's just they're Morgan Riley doesn't need the time to think. And I think when you give Mitch a chance along the half board, he can cycle pucks very, very quickly on the offensive zone. But when he's getting set up, he has it's almost like it's the second quarter of a basketball game, but it's game 43 where people are kind of just getting into position or whatever. Morgan Rielly doesn't do that. He speeds up the play. He doesn't force it, but he speeds it up.
I thought the Mitch Marner missed one-timer to Calle Jarnkrok was a good example of how his game doesn't translate to playoff hockey. I feel like in the regular season, you get so much time, you get an opportunity to try those plays a bunch of times during a game, and he's still trying to do those things in the playoffs, and you just need to be quicker with the puck. You don't have the opportunity every single possession to drift across the entire zone and have 2 attempts at a pass.
He fanned on one-timer too.
Yeah, and the one where Bertuzzi tried to feed it out in front to him, and I wish he would just play quicker and not just hold on to it and make the perfect pass every time.
Simple.
Yeah,
Simple.
He doesn't play that way.
Because he can, if he simplifies his game, he's better playing a simple game than the average player. Like, he doesn't need, we know he's great. And you're right, Jesse, you can do all those things in the regular season, but when you simplify your game, his simplified game is going to be better than, I don't know, Nick Robertson's simplified game.
I think
do you know what I'm saying?
He just computes hockey faster than everybody else. What that line needed a little bit more, they had the puck a lot, which is really solid. But in the offensive zone, there were so many times where they had the puck and they have time and they have space and no one's in front. I'm like, go to the net. Like, if Bertuzzi wasn't there, Domi wasn't there, and Marner wasn't there. No one was there. Someone's got to go to the net.
I don't think, as Jesse said, I'm not sure Mitch is that guy for going to the net. And Domi is a playmaker. And Domi would be better in front of that. He's a tougher player.
He has a goal in the series. Guess where it's from? Go to the net.
So obviously still issues on the power play. I didn't hate the penalty kill, but I didn't think it was, I'm not confident in it.
I will say this. If Matthews or McMahon comes back for game 6, I think it's time. Revo's got to come out.
Over, you keep Robertson in?
To me, it's tough. It's either Robertson or Revo. Dewar's got to stay in.
Yes.
I don't know what, like, at this point, what does Ryan Reeves bring to the table?
Yeah. You need offense too much, I think, to take Robertson out.
Mm-hmm.
And Reeves last night, like, there were games in the series where I'm like, yeah, he's banging, he's crashing, he's generating a bit. He had a couple nice stick plays in this game. He doesn't play enough to keep someone like McMahon, if he's healthy enough, definitely not Matthews, out of the lineup. And they need the offense too badly to take Robertson out.
Yeah, like I feel, and like when the fourth line was out there, they didn't have a good game. Like usually, like in game would have been 4. I was like, oh, that was a good fourth line game. You know, when they were out there, they were effective and everything. And it's kind of like wishy-washy game to game. You don't really know what you're gonna get. And last night wasn't a good enough fourth line game to justify having Ryan Reeves in the lineup.
No, and you know what Keefe is gonna do. He's late in the game. He's gonna go to Dewar, Kampf, Jarnkrok. He's gonna take Reeves off that line. Come on, man. It's too late in the series. You can't have passenger minutes here. He's got to come out. He wasn't effective enough in the. We know what's going to happen in the first 2 periods. He's going to bang, 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 crash, 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 and
then they can't play him in the third.
And then you can't play him in the third. Like, you know, in years past, I do think you've needed him out there, and I just don't know if it's that type of series right now. I don't know if it's that type of series right now. The Bruins were playing a little bit not to lose. And they tried on a lot of occasions to be on their best behavior. I just don't know if you're going to need that big bad enforcer out there in game 6 and in hopefully game 7.
Well, they're not. The thing about it is that Reeves, and he's done this. First off, he brings the vibes. We love the vibes.
Sure.
Second thing is he has thrown the body and did sort of set the tone early for a team that refused to be tough. But he's starting
an early game and early series guy.
Sure, and that's fine. And I look at this and I go, okay, the guys that are playing tough throughout the lineup, you know, defense, it's Benoit, McCabe, Edmondson, Labushkin, and then in the on the forwards, you've got Bertuzzi, you've got Domi, you've got Nyes, you've got all these guys that can bang and crash a little bit. Again, I'd like to see the Leafs throw the body a little bit more. But I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, to me, the only thing I will say is that Nick Robertson, that goal aside, has made, again, some questionable decisions.
Sure.
And so my question is, if you're going to keep him in the lineup, which I agree you should, is he? Are you doing fourth line all defense? So it's like Kampf, Dewar, Yarncroke, or is Kampf moving up? Like, how do you deploy this lineup?
Right, and that was to Steve's point. Like at 8 minutes was around 8 minutes left. That was Ryan Reese's last shift.
Yes,
but the fourth line had 3 more shifts after that, and he went to his Kampf, Yarncroke, Dewar line. And if that's going to be your fourth line when the game matters, why not just make that your fourth line?
So
I don't understand.
So Robertson, Holmberg, McMahon, maybe, or do you put McMahon back with Tavares? I wouldn't do that right away because he's just coming back, right?
No, I'd probably do what I said a little earlier. McMahon with Holmberg and Yarncroke. And then you have Robertson maybe on the right of Kampf and Dewar.
See, I like what Jesse said. Put Yarncroke on the fourth line. Make that your all defense line.
That's his fourth line.
Yeah, I guess it's totally based on how the coaching staff deploys them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, based on pay, Kampf should probably be paying a little bit more than Holmberg. Anyway.
Well, it doesn't matter now. Pay doesn't matter now.
When I think as Leafs fans, we're just not familiar enough with this guy, but Connor Dewar can score.
Sure.
He hasn't really done it here, but he came to the Leafs with double-digit goals.
Well, and I do like the Leafs' fourth line matchup against the Bruins. I don't mind that. I think they do well. Like I've been watching obviously a lot of the Canucks series, and one line that stuck out to me is the Bluger, Di Giuseppe line, where they come out and they're a factor. And they their whole job is they get an offensive zone start, keep the puck in the offensive zone. Forecheck, and then come off the ice.
The Bruins' fourth line, I feel like, isn't your typical fourth line. Your fourth line is typically chip it in and bang and crash and try to keep the puck there and try to generate offense. The Bruins' fourth line is Boquist carries it in because he can. And then you start all the fourth line things and digging and battling. But he's
Brazeau had a couple good shots last night.
Yeah. But like Boquist isn't chipping it in. What for? I'm going to go around you. I'm friggin' good. I shouldn't be here.
Right.
It's all right to have a fourth liner who's like, I don't belong here.
Yeah. So then let's get to overtime here, because I thought, like, I knew that I'm sitting here waiting for Steve's stream to finish so I can start mine, and I'm like, well, I might be sitting for a few periods, and Drew's like, get comfortable. It's going to be a while, and sure enough, it wasn't. It was a very, very quick overtime that could have ended. And nobody's paying attention to it today. The Bruins almost ended it.
Oh, yes. Yes. Joseph Woll was just spectacular. That's a hard game. The Leafs tried to get him acclimated by having him play the third period on game 4. He faces 2 shots in the first period, and one of them bloody goes in. You get busier in the second, even busier in the third, and then it's just a shooting gallery to begin overtime. The fact that this season isn't over right now is owed nearly exclusively to Joseph Woll, other than it's difficult for him to score.
Right.
Not impossible. Difficult.
And then the puck goes the other way, and John Tavares, who deserves some credit because he had some real pep in his step. There's been questions about his speed in this period.
Coach Chippy was all over that.
Yeah, and
he just beat a guy wide with speed.
And he did. But what John Tavares did that we have been talking about for a few months, actually we talked about it last year too. He drove the net. The Leafs stopped driving the net in the playoffs for some reason. And John Tavares just said, I'm going to use my big, thick kombucha legs, and I'm gonna push into the net, and it created a rebound that Matthew Nyes could bury.
Grzelcyk was way too flat-footed on that, and I think if the whole team was healthy, he might not even play Game 6. But that is not the case.
Right. Well, Lorai's already. Yeah, he didn't.
Lorai's in there. Wotherspoon's in there. I think it's Peake who's injured,
and Shattenkirk. They've pulled Shattenkirk. He wasn't playing last night. So
someone left the game. Didn't someone take
Carlo
a ball to the face? Oh, it was Carlo.
Yeah, and there's what I read this morning is that he may not be back. It might
Holy
be worse.
shit, what
It might be
happened?
something worse. I don't know. Nobody seems to know, but there might have been. He did not return for overtime.
Man, the problem with streaming the games, at least for me, is if you miss it, you miss it.
Sure.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Like if you can't find a clip, it's gone. It's gone forever. There's no, you don't get to read all the discourse about it. No one even explains it to you. I'm sure I'll catch up after the show.
Yeah.
It's literally do the stream, shoot the LFR, go to bed, wake up, drive to the podcast. I haven't had a time to watch anything since.
Yeah, that's fair.
With John Tavares, like, he's establishing himself as an absolutely clutch player. Like,
Yes.
if he's the one who ended the non-second round streak at the OT winner in Tampa, and now he's the one who saves the season with a drive to the net. Like, I feel like, are we not giving John Tavares credit for showing up in the big moments? Plays the most minutes out of any forward. Matthews is out.
People can't get past the number. 11 mils.
The contract.
Yeah, they can't get past the number. I saw someone say like, "Oh, Tavares was invisible before that goal." I'm like, what game are you watching? I think he's been great all series. I'm serious. Even the games where his line has been caved in, I'm like, okay, but out of the three, he's the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other guys are not matching him. Matthew Nyes and Mitch Marner matched him last night, I thought. Marner was big when he had to be, and Matthew Nyes stepped it up. Like,
How about that Matthew Nyes celebration when that goal went in?
Oh.
Just a guttural. Yeah. Like, that
Buddy.
is
Absolutely. Dude, you scored you're 21. You scored a playoff winner in the show.
to keep your team alive
Come on.
in Boston.
He's not even as old as I was when I graduated. Like, get
Also,
out of here. That's got to be an unreal feeling.
I don't know if you saw it, but I loved when, they all jumped in and hugged each other, and the Bruins fans in the first row were like,
Double birds. No, the best one was the guy with his hat. He took it off and he whipped it against the glass and then went,
Yeah.
and he folded his arms. That one was my favorite. Double birds was great on national TV.
love that. Love that. So,
And that comes all after Joseph Wall saves the season.
Yes.
'Cause
Saves
there's
it.
like 2 clear goals that Boston should have had on that first 5 minutes of OT, and he saved the season. It was awesome. And I don't know. I don't like doing the revisionist history because a lot of people are like, you should have started Joseph Wall from the get-go.
No.
It's like,
He didn't
no.
earn it.
No,
He
no.
didn't
No,
earn it.
from February onwards, since he came back, he was not good.
No.
And Sammy, that was his net, and he was established in there. But now you see that Sammy couldn't hold it. And now it's Joseph Wall's turn. That's fair. Like, it's okay that it played out this way.
Yeah, it's very frustrating that it did play out this way. Wool was the starter. He was set up to be the starter. And he goes down, and Sammy played really, really well.
yeah.
And he became the pace car. And Wool came back, and he couldn't keep up.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't keep up. And then the last 2 games of the season, second last game, you're like, Sammy was pretty bad tonight. Last game of the season, you're like, uh-oh, he was bad again. And he wasn't very good through 4 games of the series. And it's like this is why I'm like so frustrated and done with that player is the decision going into the playoffs went as it should have gone. If they give Wool the net, it'd be like, why?
Yeah. It would be disrespectful to Ilya Samsonov and everything he did that season.
Yes.
It would be Wool backing into the job.
Do you not play the games to earn your spot and establish the lineup and everything?
You could
that's what it's
argue.
for.
You could argue Sammy played his way out of the job. You couldn't argue Wool played his way into it.
Right.
He has now.
Mhm.
I mean, a little bit of both happened. Wool's played his way into it, and Sammy 100% played his way out of it. I wouldn't have done it differently. The only thing you could ask is, hey, Sammy, if you're going to turn into a pumpkin, can you do it a little sooner? Like that's why I'm done there, because like, how are you supposed to make plans? Like, if this goes 7 and they can't, or even if the Leafs get eliminated in this series,
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest, a lot of people are going to point to what ifs, like what if Nylander played the first half of the series? What if Matthews wasn't sick or hurt?
This
or
year,
both?
this year the result is the only thing that matters.
The result is the only thing that matters, but like people are going to ask those questions. To me, the biggest one is what if they had a goalie for the first 4 games of the series?
Well, it's something certainly that they're going to have to solve this offseason, but it's for this offseason. Joseph
Yes.
Wall
He was unreal.
came in last year and was very, very good. He came in yesterday and he was very, very good. In fact, I thought he was really good when Jesse and I were sitting in Boston Pizza, drowning our sorrows in Boston Pizza. He was good in the third period of
He
game
was.
4.
Made some saves.
So okay.
That's the gig.
So here's the question. You got a couple of things. We talked about Bobby McMahon, but obviously the thing that we haven't talked about is the absence of Austin Matthews. And really that's why we all thought it was, funeral planning time because this is a big player for them. But what I believe that I saw, and you guys could tell me if I'm wrong here, was a team previously that was expecting Auston Matthews to do a lot of the goal scoring. Mm-hmm. And when he's not there, they were like, well, it better be one of us then.
Well, they won their only game without him 7-0 this year.
Right. And
they just dial in.
So if Austin's not 100%, do you roll the same lines?
Right. So this is what I was thinking. I don't know his injury.
He may not be 100%. Let's say 80%.
If he's 50%, do you play him sparingly on your fourth line? Game 7 is when you throw everything. I was going to say out the window. That's when you throw the kitchen sink onto the ice. You just, what's his name? Robbie Fatorik, just throw the bench.
Through the bench.
Onto the ice. You just do everything. And you know how we're talking about should Nick Robertson play on the fourth line or do you do this or do Matthews? If 10 minutes is all he can give you, put him out there.
Yeah, but it's 10 minutes of Matthews at 30% better than 100% of Nick Robertson.
It's better than going home.
No, but that's not.
I understand. I understand what you're asking.
I think I would rather have Nick Robertson in the lineup than Matthews just trying to limp out there. Because what they showed last night, the thing is, when you take somebody off of a professional team, the other guys are still there.
No, I know.
It's like when an NBA team is missing their star player, the team doesn't go out there and score 30 points in a game. Yeah. When every star is out in a hockey game, the team still scores goals. I feel like they're playing if it's a different style of game, obviously, because when you have Matthews, he's such a lightning rod that you have to play in a certain way when he's on the ice. He's going to try and get his goals. And when he's not out there, the team's still good. They showed that. And if Matthews isn't if he's 50% Matthews, I don't think you use him because you play this style that you played last night, and you're perfectly fine. You're capable of beating this Bruins team that I think on paper you should be able to beat, regardless of if you have Matthews or not. And so if he's too injured, don't play him.
And Jesse, adding to that, you're committing 20 minutes to Matthews if he's playing.
Yeah.
There's no world that he's not playing 10.
This is the
or that he's playing 10. So
coaches don't look at it percent. Is he 50? They look at it as cleared and not
cleared. If you're on the ice, you are playing. You're not. If Matthews isn't playing a fourth line role. And then who knows if he goes out there, he plays the first period, he's dehydrated again, and then you're playing with 11 forwards? You're going to put yourself in that position again? I don't like that.
I do wish people would stop trying to guess.
Yeah, well,
I think that's human nature, man.
That. I know it's human nature, but he's not playing because he has a tummy ache.
Well,
are you thick?
Just let it go. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't really.
Who cares?
People can
you said. What do you always say about the internet? You can find anybody saying anything on the internet.
That's true,
right? And so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
A witch put a spell on him.
Right. And I mean, listen, I think people took my my comments about the William Nylander thing the wrong way. I got a couple emails from people going, migraines are not a joke. And I wasn't saying that migraines were a joke. And I wasn't calling him. What I said was, I don't believe teams when they tell me it's a head injury that's a non-concussion. That's what I'm saying. And I could see a player sitting out because of migraines. I just have the right to question it. I have the right to say, it's not that I don't believe you on the migraines thing. Actually, it is that I don't believe you on the migraines thing. The NHL has a pretty sordid history with ignoring concussions, and so that's how I feel about that. It doesn't mean that I'm diminishing anybody's migraines. Specifically, I was asking producer Drew, because he gets them, about what it's like, and I think producer Nick gets them too. And it's they vomit and they get sick.
Yeah,
it's brutal.
I don't know. You always hear I got a migraine or whatever. And I think people misdiagnose themselves with migraines because the way people describe them, I'm convinced now that I've never had one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I get lots of headaches, but
I've never had one. I know I haven't. Thank God. Knock on wood.
I don't know.
Now, the last thing I think we should hit is with, so we did them Auston Matthews. We did the Bobby McMahon. Now looking forward to Game 6, the Leafs have lost 7 straight on home ice. Not that matters.
Are you serious?
Yeah, in the playoffs. Wow. As I told you, Sheldon Keefe's home record in the playoffs as the Leafs coach is 4-12.
That's unbelievable.
How do they shift the narrative on that? How do they change that?
You need some. I think I think it's a bit overblown.
You wouldn't say it's nothing, though.
It's not nothing. They played a very composed game in Boston in Game 5. Don't be rattled by the moment. Stick to the things that were going well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take any stupid penalties. And advantage to you, it's Game 6. There are going to be fewer. Refs don't want to call it.
Yep.
Refs don't want to be Wes McCauley. They don't want to be.
They don't want to be brave.
Well,
Those brave referees.
the call on Justin Hall, like whether you think it was the right one or the wrong one, let's say 100% it was the right one.
Mm-hmm.
It was the story coming out of that game in 2022. Nobody wants that, right? So that's to the Leafs' advantage. Stay out of the box, get some saves from your goalie. And I think it's that simple. I don't think you have to grossly change your game. I think the guy who needs to screw his head on the tightest is Sheldon Keefe. Don't get overly obsessed with last change. And
his line matching stinks anyway. It doesn't matter. Just play the players.
do what you did last time, man. And trust your guys. Trust your guys. When you hardcore line match like that, I feel like it shows a lack of trust in the other guys.
Yeah.
And those guys are going to
I
think it creates anxiety.
Well, you feel like you're playing on the back foot because you're focused on who's out there rather than playing the game.
Yes. You're focused on, all right, I got my matchup. And when the situation arises where, Jim Montgomery catches you, or the Bruins cycle it for a little bit and they get to you're going, oh, no. And you're playing the whole shift in fear. And that it can't be that way.
Yeah, but Steve,
simplify the game.
Sheldon Keefe isn't good at line changes. Like we've established.
No,
I know.
That is his one of his biggest faults. The other is not hiring somebody who can run a power play.
Well, that's
he's not. I don't think we can bank on Sheldon Keefe not doing something wonky with the fourth line.
That's an indictment. That's rough.
He's
not good at line change.
He's not.
That's true.
Like he'll double shift guys when they don't need to, and they'll lead to a goal because they're tired. He'll play the fourth line when he doesn't have to. He'll change up the lines late in game to lines he hasn't played with all season long. He's not good at line changes.
I think the key to winning at home is keeping it simple. What do you do on the road? You play the cards you're dealt. Oh, these guys are out there. Better adapt. You know what I mean? Watch some game tape from the road.
Who's more nervous in your mind? Boston blowing it again or Toronto nervous in front of their home crowd?
Boston. The Leafs are already dead. They're already dead. And I was asked a spectacular question by Tugi, who's he does a lot of
He's great.
NHL
Tugi.
24 content.
He unfortunately cheers for the wrong team. But
So over the last few days before Game 5 or leading into Game 5, we were talking about trade Marner, fire Shanahan, fire Keefe. How far would the Leafs have to get to undo all of that?
third round.
That was my answer. And it still might not be enough. The last year, we were like, they did it. And then they got knocked out in 5 in the second round. And we realized how not close to winning the Stanley Cup 5 playoff wins is. Mm-hmm. You need 16. 16.
Mm-hmm.
Oilers.
You need to get to 9 or 10 before
Dude,
I'm willing to entertain no changes.
Oilers in 2022 went all the way to the Western Conference Final. They still only managed 8. They got swept by the Avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
They got halfway there. 16 wins is so hard. And if you don't get at least halfway there, I think everything is set in motion. The Bruins, I mean, they were set to fire. Oh my God, what's his name? The
GM?
The coach who they won with in 2011.
Oh
my God.
Cassidy?
No, in 2011.
2011, sorry.
They won the cup with him. His name escapes me.
Claude Julien.
Claude Julien, thank you. Jeez. They were down 2-0 to Montreal in the first round. And You know what? I told this story yesterday and I got it wrong. It was 2013 against the Leafs. They blow that series. They blow that 3-1 lead. I remember all the stories heading into Game 7 were, if the Bruins blow this, he's fired. He's gone. And why not? You blew a 3-1 lead in the first round. You stink. What happens? They win with a historical comeback. An historic comeback. You go all the way to the Stanley Cup final. Game 6. He kept his job for like a couple more years, riding on that. They were about to fire the guy, but that's how far he had to get. So the Leafs, they're dead already. We have nothing to lose. That's how they should be looking at this. Sheldon Keefe's like, I'm a fired guy who just happens to be on the bench for this game. Shanahan, I'm just along for the ride. Hopefully they win. I guess we'll see. Marner, I like it here. I grew up here. I'd like to continue winning here. That'd be cool. Maybe even 4-7. Buy myself a couple more days. So many of these guys, their fate is basically carved into stone with the caveat that they got to get at least 3 rounds deep. You were down 3-1 in the first round. You're already dead. Go zombie mode and drag these guys into the grave with you.
I like that. And if you're the Bruins, and you could see it from Bruins fans' reactions last night, you know, Jim Montgomery, for as great as he's been as a coach in this series, if they lost the next game, there are going to be questions. If they lost game 7, there are going to be very loud questions. Brad Marchand, as captain, this is his first full season. And is he able to do this without Chara and Bergeron and all the other great players? Dude, these questions start to pop up. Is the defense strong enough? Is it deep enough?
Go look at Bruce Boudreau's career record as a head coach.
It's crazy good.
He should never be without a job. Ever. You know why he is?
Playoffs.
He's like 0 for 8 in game 7s. That's crazy. That's insane. Matters. Matters big time.
Interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Hortons Hockey's greatest duos.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's open this pack up. And I hand you guys a card. I can't open it.
I already opened mine.
Oh, okay.
But so we can do 2. Steve, you don't get one today.
What?
Yeah, sorry,
I got Dylan Guenther and Lawson Krause of the Utah team. They are still wearing their Coyotes uniforms, and they are in their defunct franchise, but they are soon to be of Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And I got Emily Clark and Kendall Coyne Schofield.
Oh,
Emily Clark, who was on Noxie and Cax.
That is right.
That is a fun one. And then I also have Brianne Jenner and Hannah Brandt. That's awesome.
Love that.
Yeah.
Here's what I got. I got Steven Stamkos with Braden Point.
how are they connected?
They are both Canadian. And Braden Point is the cool alternate jersey on there. We got a Columbus Blue Jackets card. We got Kirill Marchenko and Johnny Gaudreau.
Nice.
All the goals and all the assists.
Linked by numbers. This is Cole Caulfield and Kevin Fiala. And in common, they wear the number 22.
I like that. Now, don't forget to pick up your Tim Hortons Greatest Duos booklet so you can put all the cards in the booklet like we are. Look. See? You see? Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? So, Steve, put those in. Grab them at Tim Hortons right now. We're talking about 2 icons on every card, rivals, teammates, family, and more connected like never before. It's the new Tim's Hockey Greatest Duos trading cards. Check them out right now. Well, we're going to have another stream tomorrow night, and announced on Steve's stream last night, Hockey Rants and Raves out October the 15th. Woo! So the manuscript is submitted. How do you feel?
Please buy this book. It almost killed me. It's in editing with HarperCollins. Copy editing, which is a late editing process. They'll send the manuscript back to me. I'll look at it, do a little bit of this, do a little bit of that. They'll look at it, make sure it's not shitty, and then it'll go to print.
We got a couple of inquiries about signed books.
Yes.
People were like, I'm hesitant to buy it because I want a signed copy. Can you explain how you'll get signed copies into people's hands?
Yes. So we're obviously down the line here. It is May 1st. This doesn't come out until October 15th.
It hasn't gone to print yet.
Yeah, there are no physical copies for me to sign. Yeah, there are no physical copies.
So
of
wait
the
a
book.
second. This is all theoretical.
This is a hypothetical book.
It could
no.
But like, if you buy a copy, you can always bring it to a live event,
Oh, 100%.
right? It's okay.
Yes. And will we sell some on the store? I imagine so. I think the biggest issue is they don't exist yet.
Yes.
The second biggest issue is we are not a big enough shop to accommodate a lot of sales. Like, we sold a bunch of my first book. We still have some in the lobby here. And that took so much effort.
It takes hours of man hours from like us personally doing things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which we're happy to do, but it's very difficult.
And we can't commit time to that
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hardcover, which the first one wasn't. You can pre-order it on Amazon, pre-order it on Indigo, local. What is this store that it's on?
This is the publisher's website. This is HarperCollins.
HarperCollins. Interesting. Okay.
What's wrong?
No, because I saw the price and I'm like,
Is this not who's publishing the book?
Oh no, it is.
Okay.
It is. It is. No,
I
this
feel
has
like
been
they
a
should-
complete whirlwind.
They should have the book on their site.
No, they do.
And then the links to wherever you want to buy it.
I'm sort of surprised they don't have your face on it yelling the puck.
If you go to where this is,
Oh, so this is
it
this
has
is,
the links to where you can buy it.
Sorry, if it sounds like this is news to me, it's because it is.
Yeah.
So no, because
No,
yesterday I didn't see these options. All I saw was Amazon and Indigo. And that's why
no.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books A Million. I don't even know what that is. Bookshop, Target, and Walmart. I didn't know we were in Target and Walmart. Let's friggin' go. Hooray for a big publisher.
So
Let's
if you go to the link in the description right now, whether you're listening on YouTube or you're watching on YouTube or listening on podcasts, there'll be the link to the HarperCollins website. And from there, you can go to wherever you want to purchase the book.
There you go. Yeah. Several mental breakdowns in the process of writing this book. It is not a biography like the last one, and there is decidedly less zoo content.
Is there zoo content though?
I think it's mentioned.
Oh, well, I would expect that very late.
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I got to read it again. But what they told me is, at the beginning of it, they're like, we'd like you to basically do a bunch of short essays. And I go, you mean like rants? And they're like, yep.
Cool.
And I go off and, some of it is chastising of hockey. Some of it is a love letter to hockey. It's a real good book. Comes out on the same day as Nazem Kadri's.
Obviously, you announced that during the stream last night. That's okay. You get both. Maybe they'll bundle them.
Yeah, but get mine first.
HarperCollins bundle.
No, it's he's with a different publisher.
Boo.
So,
Hiss.
boo.
Wow, it's too bad he picked the wrong publisher.
Who even likes him?
Not.
Who even likes him? No, I'm kidding.
He definitely can't sit at our lunch table. Not now. Not
No.
now. Now they didn't go HC.
You believe he wrote it? He broke his thumb. No way.
Oh, he's a penguin random.
How'd he press the space bar? Get out of here.
320 pages. That's
That's
What
a lot
is?
of pages.
that's pretty good.
That's
Mine?
so many pages.
Yeah. I'm on Books A Million now because I wanted to find out what it is.
What's Books A Million?
Bam?
Bam.
Bam! Books A Million. Bam! They have your book, so you can pre-order
Jesse,
from Books A Million.
must
That freaked me right out when you said bam.
They must have increased the font size.
Anyways,
That many
300
pages. I don't remember it being that long.
320 pages. Yeah, that's quite a bit.
Times New Roman font 16.
Oh,
Is it one of those things where you write an essay and you double space? It's supposed to be like 12 font and you did 12.5.
Yeah.
No,
So you can stretch it
This
out.
is interesting because, well, you would say that a lot of people find it
In
interesting. And that
regards.
is, in regards, just
Yeah.
add those words in.
there was a class presentation in like the 6th grade that I still remember where this kid said he set up every sentence with "there are lots of many." Blah, 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 blah. First time he said it, teacher cut him off and goes, "You don't say lots of many. You just say there are many or there are lots of. That's it." And then he said it again, and the teacher interrupted him again, and you just see him sweating because he's like, "This is my whole fucking presentation."
Oh no!
And I still remember it. That poor kid was 12.
Oh, no.
And so was I.
Still
But
figuring
yeah.
out syntax at that point.
Oh yeah. So it's a lot of the idea I had in mind with the book, and I wrote a lot of it in like pubs and bars. I was that jerk, just loser, bringing a laptop into a pub and a bar.
With that Family Guy skit, it's like, oh, are you writing your script?
Yeah.
Starbucks.
You got your novel? So no, but the reason I did that is to bring myself into, back when I used to go to bars all the time, and it would always inevitably come back to hockey. Unless Adam was there, then it would be World War II. But it was usually about hockey.
World War I.
World War I, my bad. And, who's the greatest player of all time? Who's on the Mount Rushmore of great players? Who's on the Mount Rushmore of goalies? And how do you have that conversation? So not all of it was, if you don't believe this, you're stupid. Mm-hmm. Not all of it was me throwing it, going, this is the beginning, middle, and end of this argument once and for all. A lot of it was, here's how you have the argument. Here's the etiquette behind it. If you are trying to build a deeper relationship with your friends, your cousin, your uncle, your dad, your grandpa, I tried to write a book that you can share across generations and understand each other. It's unfair to make this argument. Have you tried this? There's some things about officiating in there. What are the other things? There's some things about video games.
Did you answer Adam's question about the zoo stories?
Yes.
There's no zoo stories, but I believe it is mentioned that I worked.
Which animal has the most Riz?
You did get in there?
Ooh, probably the lion-tailed macaque.
Oh, there you go.
It's mentioned in there that you worked at the zoo.
Why? I'm pretty sure. I don't remember. I straight up don't remember.
Why?
Here's another thing. When I agreed to write this book, my wife was not yet pregnant. Mm-hmm. And when she told me, I was like, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, did some math, and I went, oh, fuck. Mm-hmm. Because if I don't finish the editing in time, I am going to be triple whammied with newborn playoffs book.
And that's what you did.
And the last month of my life has been fucked. So please pre-order this book. It's been so hard. Writing a book is so hard. Mm-hmm. I can't emphasize it enough. It's really, really hard. I wrote the thing.
Who told him to wait a year?
Oh, Adam did.
Or just write it in August.
He tried to.
I tried.
But he couldn't get it done.
Last August, you were just free. Like, we weren't podcasting.
I was writing.
You didn't. What? You had 4 weeks.
Dude, there was one day I wrote, I think it was 7,000 words in a day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just not enough. Oh, yeah. I mean, when was the last time you wrote 7,000 words in a day?
Yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Big writer,
Damn.
Jesse Blake. Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. Big writer.
Big.
And he wrote about his friend who works at the zoo.
I want to know how far of the 320 we got to get into to see zoo written.
I will check the manuscript tonight and find you a page.
Thank you.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, hit Command F and just type in zoo.
Is that how you do it? I don't know. Dude, whenever I hear about people with ghostwriters or they say written with, I'm like, God, that seems nice. Maybe I'll try that next time. Because I wrote 2 whole ass books my damn self, and it was really hard.
So what do you think of a guy like Stephen King who pumps out 42 books in a month?
Psychopath.
And they're scary too.
Psychopath.
Yeah, they're good.
I did some research on that, hearing him talk about, I get up in the morning and I don't stop writing until I've hit 2,000 words. There are days where it just tumbles right out of your head and onto the page, and it's the easiest, most effortless thing in the world. On days where you don't have anything, it's I think I'd have an easier time running a half marathon.
I think it's
hard.
Just this.
Don't laugh at me.
Stephen King is an author.
I am a floorball champion. I'm an athlete.
And so
you could not run.
How long is a half marathon?
21, isn't it?
21 and a half.
Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe marathon's 52.
Maybe that Spartan
42.
It's 5 kilometers.
42.
Yeah, no, I could half marathon. That actually sounds pretty.
My whole thing here.
That sounds hard.
My point here is that the reality is that Stephen King is an author full time, and you're an author once every half decade, right? So it's a little bit different. And the reason he gets up and he does 2,000 words, it's like it'd be asking him to do LFRs, right? Not easy because you do it all the time. How much time do we spend on air Like, especially when our careers were like, we had other jobs outside of SDPN. Think about the three of us, how much time we'd spend on the air every day, right? Because
especially you.
And there would be days where you're just not good. And I'm sure Stephen King has days like that too, but you're just like, whatever, you had a bad sleep, you had a fight with somebody, you're something's off, you know what I mean?
Adam, there was one day I listened to you on the way in to record the podcast.
Mhm.
Then we recorded a podcast together. Then we spoke to each other on the phone. And when I turned on the TV, you were on channel 1. And I out loud went, "Go away! That's enough! Adam, too much!"
So last night, I was doing a stream. And it was for the Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators. And there were people complaining on that stream that they couldn't watch the game.
Really?
Yes. So what would you do if you can't watch the game?
Well, what are my options?
I think your only option
Is to have a very pleasant nature.
and be go to nordvpn.com/dangle. Not only are you going to be able to unlock content, so if you're bored of streaming services or you can't get what you want, with over 5,000 server options, no show and no game is out of reach. But there's also this, threat protection. They've doubled down on keeping you safe with the new threat protection feature. You can say goodbye to intrusive website ads and malware. Even if you download an infected file, threat protection kicks in and deletes it before it makes a mess of your computer.
You to shut down D-Man.
That's right. Absolutely. Risk-free. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee. Literally no risk to you. 30-day money-back guarantee. Give it a try. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, they'll refund it. And you can pretend the entire situation never happened. Check out nordvpn.com/dangle to get your subscription started today. Grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/dangle to get a huge discount off your NordVPN plan plus 4 months for free. You see? So it's again, NordVPN. Sorry? What?
A lot of months free.
It's a lot of months. It's 4 months for free. That's it. That's a quarter and a month of a year.
You go 4 times. You go to 4 bases. You get a home run.
They should call it the Nord home run deal. NordVPN.com.
We just got something.
No,
Yeah.
they got to hire us in their marketing department.
It's like a home run if the moon was a baseball.
NordVPN.com/dangle. Again, it's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Get that exclusive deal, and you can check it out in the description of this episode. The Winnipeg Jets were reverse swept by the Colorado Avalanche last night. We've lost to Winnipeg Jets. And in 2 playoff appearances, the Winnipeg Jets have won 2 games. One against the Golden Knights, one against the Colorado Avalanche. Now, listen, Colorado Avalanche, I just want to say that I picked the Colorado Avalanche to beat the Jets.
Good for you. I think you were the only one, did you?
Yeah, I had Winnipeg.
So did I.
The
In
Winnipeg
6.
Jets looked so much stronger this year in the regular season than they did last year. So much stronger. Like the Vegas series, they were the clear underdogs. This one felt evenly matched. Why, guys, did it end up not being so?
The best defense in the NHL and arguably the best goalie in the NHL got frigging shelled. It was complete unstoppable force meets entirely fragile and breakable object, apparently. They were just a battering ram. Their ads at the deadline came up big.
Middle stat, big.
Valerie Nichushkin is such a ridiculous playoff performer, and the Avalanche missed him so much. Cale Makar is a superstar. And after a really bad game 1, Alexander Georgiev settled in.
Yes, he did.
Like, it became obvious early in the series, like we've misread this a little bit. If the Avalanche get at least equal goaltending to the Winnipeg Jets, they'll win the series for sure. And they got more than that.
So, guys, let me throw something at you. How many games, regular season games, has Connor Hellebuyck played in the last 3 seasons combined? Take a guess.
Not enough. Sorry, Martin Brodeur possessed me for a moment there. 175.
Jesse.
3 seasons combined.
Yeah.
So if it was 60, it'd be 60, 60, 60, it'd be like 180. I would say 180.
190.
Wow!
He regularly
Wow.
gets between 3,500 and 4,000 minutes on the ice.
God damn.
How about that there, Martin?
And
How about that?
Connor Hellebuyck is 30 years old. And he's
too
been
much.
a fantastic goaltender. He plays the Brodeur 60 games, whatever, and he's been amazing for Winnipeg. But to me in this series, that is Well, like Winnipeg lives and dies by Connor Hellebuyck, and they should. But at some point, you got to sit down and talk to your goalie and say, listen, we have a good backup. Laurent
Brossois real good.
Brossois really good. Why can't we have you at 50 and him at 32, ideally?
You couldn't have taken 10 games off his plate? Like even 10.
And I know that they were in a race for the top of the division, but even so, okay, top of the division, they would have played Vegas.
Well, home ice didn't help you, did it?
No,
it didn't.
You had home ice in the series. It didn't help.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think, it's a little revisionist, obviously, like heading into the series where like they have two really good goalies and the best one and a really good defense. They're going to be fine. And they added an offense. And their offensive contributors who they got were good.
Well, here are Connor Hellebuck's numbers in the last 3 years combined for save percentage.
Playoffs? Or
Playoff save percentage.
Playoffs, okay.
Regular season save percentage is 910, 920, and then 921. So very, very good.
Pretty damn
Vezina.
Vezina.
Yep.
2021 Jets, 931 save percentage. Unbelievable.
Unbeatable.
The fact that they only got 8 games into that playoff is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 2, 2022-23, 886.
Oh.
Horrendous.
This year, 870.
Oh.
So listen, is it revisionist or is it a trend? And after the season ends, you kind of have to get a little bit like, well, where are the trends?
Well, and also, I think the key here is you look at how poorly he did in these playoffs and how poorly he did in last playoffs. Those are two completely different Jets teams.
Yes, without question. The Jets are way better this year. Way better.
Well, like just in terms of like personnel and roster construction, like completely different teams. And it was near identical result. That's frightening if you're the Jets.
The big difference is Rick Bowness didn't get on the microphone right after the game and go, our efforts sucked. That was terrible. I think they were just overmatched. And you look at, so I'm going to spotlight Casey Middlestat and Tyler Toffoli.
Okay.
Tyler Toffoli started this game on the 4th line. He was not playing great. He did score.
He sure did.
And
well, you give stars a 4th line opportunity. Sometimes they do things for you.
Let's pretend we're all Jesse and NHL 24.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So we're losing.
Who were we going after first? Are we going after Casey Middlestat or are we going after Tyler Toffoli? And I think the answer 10 out of 10 times is probably one Tyler Toffoli.
Well, you know what I think. Sorry. No.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Sure.
And yet Casey Middlestat fit the lineup.
They needed a second line center and they got a real good one. You replaced Ryan Johansson, who went to Lehigh Valley with, actually, I don't even think he played, with Casey Middlestat, who's having a great season.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty big upgrade.
I can't believe Ryan Johansson is back under the Torts system. Like, that is weirdly funny because they can't stand each other.
I'm sure
he won't be there
I'm sure
long.
they'll come to an agreement.
Yeah, they'll figure something out. So we'll start there, and then the Canucks.
With the
not
Jets.
the Canucks. Sorry, Jets. I meant to say.
Yeah, with the Jets, there's a good argument to make that they had the worst defensive performance of any playoff team in the history of the National Hockey League.
Sorry,
Because they did
the history of the NHL.
They set a record.
Oh, that's unbelievable. I saw this.
This was from Sportsnet Stats. The Jets are the first team in NHL history to allow 5+ goals in each of their first 5 games to begin a postseason. Nobody has ever done that.
No one in the 80s?
Nobody ever has allowed
crazy.
5 goals or more in 5 straight games to begin a playoffs. And on top of that, they allowed the second most even strength goals in the first 5 games of a postseason ever.
You know why they set a record? Because most teams who allow 5 goals don't get to 5 games.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a breakdown defensively, and I wonder if this should I get Connor Hellebuyck struggled and all that stuff, but I wonder if this falls on Rick Bowness and his system there, because it clearly hasn't worked in the playoffs 2 times in a row. And going back to his Dallas days in 2020, because he was with the Jets in 23, so 2022 they lost in the first round.
Completely different horses.
Yeah,
they lost in the first round and they got smoked. And I wonder if it's him and the way he has these guys playing defense works great in the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, it turns your team into the worst postseason defensive team of all time.
I once again, for the second time this show, I'm going to bring up Bruce Boudreau, who should absolutely never be without a job if you go and look at his record. If you look at his playoff record, though, and his record in Game 7s, it follows you around. It doesn't take long to develop that kind of reputation. And like, how old is Rick Bowness?
He's in his 50s, or late 50s, early 60s, I would say.
No, Rick Bowness is 69 years old.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
He's far more energetic and young for somebody I would think is 69.
So he's got to be one of the oldest, if not the oldest coach in the NHL.
Got to be one of the oldest, yeah.
Is it getting near time? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he coached.
Maybe.
He was an assistant. He was head coach of the Jets in 88, 89.
Wow.
He was an assistant
Wow.
in 84, 85. His first run with the
Gretzky
Jets.
was with the Kings.
Yeah. He played for,
I was with diapers. That was our first year on the planet.
Rick Bowness played for the Atlanta Flames in 1975, 1976.
Whoa.
He's been around the block.
Damn.
So wait, what was his first coaching gig?
The Jets.
The head coach? His first gig?
Assistant
Oh,
of the Jets. But he only did that for 3 seasons, and then he moved over to the Moncton Hawks of the AHL. I'll bring it up here. And then the Jets brought him back to be the head coach of their team in 88, 89.
For interim stint.
And yeah, and
But
then
he even in 82, 83 was with the Sherbrooke Jets. This dude has been coaching longer than anyone in this room has been alive.
Boston Bruins. He was the head coach, got all the way to the 3rd round, and then the next year had to go to the Senators. I forgot he was the Senators' first head coach. I forgot.
Dude, that
he's
Man.
been coaching forever.
that resume's tough.
Yeah.
That playoff resume's
There's
tough.
a tough
There's
one.
not a lot of success outside
Oh.
of the 2020 Dallas Stars run.
And maybe the 3rd round with the Tampa Bay Lightning, 17-18. I forgot they
Yeah.
got that deep.
Oh yeah.
Oh, lost
Or
in finals.
the Vancouver one. I forgot he was head coach in 2011 or associate coach. Yeah, he's not in head coach. I'm not giving him credit for
Interim.
that. Yeah, associate coach in
2-12-3 with the Coyotes.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing this up, Jesse. Talk about
Mhm.
fallible defense. Part of this has to be coaching because it takes more than one person subtracted from a blue line, in theory, for a blue line to be bad. But Brendan Dillon being out, they didn't seem to react too well to him not playing. And they were bad before.
If
But
one player makes your whole house of cards fall down, then you didn't have a solid foundation.
they were also missing Vlad Nemesnikov too.
With the puck to the head, yeah.
Yeah.
2 just really unlucky and unfortunate. I mean, you got a guy who was slashed by a skate in a scrum and a guy who took a puck to the head. But that's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Freakish stuff like that happens. You got to be able to adapt.
It's going to be fascinating to see what the Winnipeg Jets do because they've been, I mean, honestly, I think it was, what's the GM's name again? It's just
Kevin Cheveldayoff.
Cheveldayoff, was a GM there for 5 years and didn't make a trade.
I know.
and they've been far more aggressive lately, especially the last 3 or 4 years. They've made some good moves. The way forward, though, I think is going to be interesting, and we'll talk about the Avs in a second because you've made your bet. Hellebuyck is your goalie. Scheifele is your main guy. Those guys are sticking around. That's awesome.
Nothing wrong with that.
You had trouble selling tickets, though, this year.
Sure.
Economy's probably a part of that.
This is not going to help.
This is not going to help. And you need, what I saw with Colorado is their top-end guys are just so much better. And you could say that Colorado matches up pretty well against any team.
I
in
was
the
about
NHL.
to say,
But you've got Dallas. You've got potentially Vegas. You've got Colorado. These teams that you're going to have to play, like the Leafs always have to play. Is it Florida? Is it Tampa? Or is it Boston? Which one is it? They all suck. Which one do I have to play? It's going to suck. What can Winnipeg do? I think they tried to get some top-end scoring out of Toffoli. It didn't work out. Is that a coaching thing? Who knows? What do they do now? It's a tough place to get people to sign sometimes. What do you do?
oh boy.
Just keep going? Just keep running it back?
No.
It's a good team.
I don't.
Real good team.
I'm struggling to find what other choice they have, but besides run it back again and hope you don't collapse.
Can you move off of Pionk? Would that help?
Which I think a puck banked off him and went in the net. There were 2 own goals last night for the Jets, which
Oh yeah,
sucks.
he shot it right into the net. It wasn't
Yeah.
even a bank. It was right.
Oh,
on the stick.
yeah.
It was a one-timer.
A lot of mystifying lineup decisions too. Their treatment of Nikolai Ehlers is strange.
Very strange.
Yeah, Kyle Connors, just total lack of interest in the defensive zone. Not playing Cole Perfetti every game.
Bowness does not like Perfetti.
It's weird. Maybe it's as simple as, you know what? Let's get another set of eyes here.
And maybe you can sit your goalie down and go, you can't play this much anymore.
Yeah, I know you struggle to listen. In the NHL, there's 900 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lot, but it's a lot. Head coach, 32. You'll have an easier time recruiting a head coach.
The Vancouver Canucks, in my estimation, and I've watched the series very closely, really blew it against the Nashville Predators last night. And I say that because I think the Canucks played their best game of the series and didn't win. And the reason they didn't win is it's one thing. It's penalties. They came out in the first and the third period, shot out of a cannon. Nashville had been limiting them. I'm talking total game shots, both teams combined. It was right around 40 most games. And I'm talking Vancouver, there was a game where they won. They got 12 shots. And Nashville got 32.
I can't believe Nashville has dominated the Canucks like this. And they're down 3-1.
Because they can't score. They can't score.
I think for me, the series is the correct score because there's no way Vancouver should have won game number 4. Like Colton says,
you're right.
You had the empty net right there. You hit the post. Vancouver scores 2 empty net goals, or they pulled goalie goals in that game. They win in overtime. That should have been Nashville's game. And last night, I think Adam's right in that Vancouver dominated. They should have won that. So it's kind of right. Well, in the universe. It's 3-2.
And I'm going to go through the penalties because this will, if you're a Leafs fan specifically, you will be able to relate to this. You'll be able to relate to the frustration of watching this. So they're fired up to start the game in the first period, and they get a bunch of chances, and then JT Miller gets 2 minutes for hooking.
And
you go, nothing happens.
Okay.
Fine.
Oh, good.
Nikita,
that's a good penalty killer for them, too.
Pretty even in the second period. Nikita Zadorov goes for cross-checking. What he should have done, he cross-checked player in the back, should have just let the player come to him and then push off.
Yeah,
they're going to call
they call the impact cross-checks, not the push ones.
Ian Cole got his stick up underneath somebody's visor to end the second period.
They're going to call it every time.
And this is the thing that killed them. They were playing so well in the third period. 6:51 in, Dakota Joshua, 2 minutes for boarding.
What did you think?
It wasn't a good board. Like it was it was a
good call.
The ref has to call it every day.
Right.
And that just stopped their momentum dead. And you have to remember that at that time, they had scored. They were coming off the Nikita Zadorov end-to-end.
That was unreal.
Corner to corner in the net. It was unbelievable shot. Yossi Saros was super deep in his net. Didn't understand that.
Well, he's probably, you know what it reminded me of, ironically, is Marty Marincin going end-to-end against the Canucks a few years ago. And I think part of the reason it was allowed to happen, the Canucks just let him come because they're like, well, it's Marty Marincin. He's not going to. You're not expecting Nikita Zadorov to go end-to-end. How many goals do you have this season?
I don't even know, but he's like one of their top scorers. And he's doing. I think he's doing really, really well.
According to Julian McKenzie, this is something he saw in Calgary like a bunch of times. This isn't unfamiliar territory from Zadorov, so you should be expecting that.
Really?
Yeah.
Not based on the player that I know him to be. Right. I think that's
not in your imagination of who Nikita is.
See, it's in the name Zador, as an or, Bobby Orr. You see?
Oh, Zadorov, I didn't know where that was.
Roman Josi. Then on the Dakota Joshua power play, this is Vancouver did a good job killing penalties, but then, of course, as soon as they take that penalty in the third, Josi scores. Mm-hmm. And then you get the reverse of what happened in the Leafs game with Jake McCabe. That Jake McCabe goal just kind of floats in. Alexander Carey just floated one in. And then
that was a great shot.
It was a great shot, but a body could have stopped it, right? Like somebody lays down, that's not getting through.
Is that one of those ones where you go, if only we had our starter? Who was it, by the way? Was it again? I was doing my own thing. It was Silovs. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I mean, geez. I know they're up 3-1. You're digging deep.
Well, that's why you needed to finish it last night. I was thinking there's going to be dancing in the streets in Vancouver tonight, and so now that you got to go back to Nashville and play Friday night. In a tough barn.
In a building they dominated you in, and you won a game with, I think I saw they had a 0.4% chance of winning.
Yes. With a rookie goaltender.
Wow.
I wanted the angle up top from like you see Soros looking down on the ice, like from the other ice of that Carrier shot, because you can really see the amount of traffic in front. Okay, here it is. Perfect. I want to pause it right here. So Carrier hits. I think Carrier nailed this shot exactly where he wanted it to go, because it's seeing eye. It goes right to the bottom left corner there on the screen. And if you see Svilov's, like the Nashville players, they drift right to the middle of the ice, and even his own players right in front of him blocking out his view. And it's a fantastic shot, and it's a credit to playoff hockey when you just got to get people in front and you just create chaos in front of the goalie, and you can get these slappers in from way far out.
If you scroll it forward a little bit, Jesse, watch Ryan O'Reilly.
No, here, but before you do, credit to Carrier. Look how he's walking the line.
Oh yeah.
Look at his skate. Look how close the puck is to the blue. Look at that.
Yeah.
Talk about maximizing his space.
Now,
look at that.
Watch
That's
O'Reilly.
beautiful.
Watch where O'Reilly goes.
He comes right there,
Right in front.
pushes him,
Quinn Hughes
Quinn
takes
Hughes,
his eyes
yeah.
away.
and then he can't see it.
No, he
it
doesn't
goes
see it.
right in.
He doesn't.
And even on this angle up top, you see the puck just go straight. Look how he's trying to see around the guys right there. Quinn Hughes is blocking him out, and Ryan O'Reilly's pushing him right in front of where the puck's coming. It's a C&I shot. I loved it. It's beautiful hockey. And like credit to Nashville for playing this kind of hockey where Adam, we've been talking about how he's been streaming the worst series in the world because both of these teams are not giving anybody anything. They're just playing defensive shell hockey.
Boring.
And when you're playing this kind of hockey and the zone is clogged up, in that middle of the ice, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys right all there. These are the kind of shots that go in, and you're not going to get a whole bunch of goals, and these games are ending 2-1 every time.
Nashville wanted a goal so bad that they were like, okay, fine, we'll dress Tyson Barrie.
Hey, he was injured, was he not?
Well,
Oh, really?
This was his first game back.
I was like, wait a second. Hasn't he been good in Nashville?
No, he's been good. He's been good. I was making the jokes. I think Tyson Barrie's good. He's actually perfect for a team like that because everybody else can play defense, so he doesn't have to.
That's true.
And their power play moved a little bit.
He's been good since he got there, dating back to the trade.
He was good in Edmonton.
Yeah.
It's about how he's deployed.
Yeah.
It's about how he's deployed. Completely down to that. And it's like
they got better when they got Echo.
Yeah.
Dude, it's a good trade. It's a good trade.
For Edmonton and for Nashville. It worked out. Yeah.
I think if Nashville wants to be a leader in the West, it's not going to take much. But I do think ideally Ryan O'Reilly is your second line center. In a perfect world, you find your all-star center at the front.
It's going to be really good when they have Steven Stamkos.
Oh man,
because that's the kind of piece they're missing. That's exactly the player they're needing to take another step.
It's like a younger Pavelski signing when he signed with Dallas out of San Jose, right?
That trade at the time, I was like, you are out of your mind.
Wait, what was a trade? I thought it was a signing.
No, sorry, signing. I thought Dallas were out of their minds. That's too much money for a player who's too old. And here he is still completely kicking ass. By the way, this is such a Nashville-ass trade. Tyson Barrie traded from the Edmonton Oilers with Reed Schaefer, who was a first-round pick, 32nd overall in 2022, and a first-round pick in the 2023 draft, which was Tanner Molenbeek, who was 24th overall last year, and a fourth-round pick in the 2024 draft to the Preds for Matthias Ekholm and a sixth-round pick. It's just Nashville having their cake and eating it too.
Yep.
Like to a T.
Yep. We have lost most of the East. Most of the East is finished except for Toronto and Boston.
Hilarious.
We only have one team officially through in the West. It's a bit more of a war, but we could get one tonight with Edmonton and Los Angeles.
Hey, do we want to take some time to not talk about the Rangers?
Well, we'll talk about the Rangers later.
No, I don't.
Why don't you want to talk about the Rangers?
Because Rangers fans like the bit.
They like the bit that we don't talk about them?
Yeah, they like the
I'm
bit
missing this. What's going on?
No one talks about them.
No one talks about the Rangers?
Yeah,
I feel like we did.
No.
What are the Rangers?
What Rangers fans?
No,
are you
New
listening
York
to?
sneaking under the
I
radar?
know a Rangers jersey 2 episodes ago.
You know who always sneaks under the radar? New York.
Yo, there wasn't anything to talk about. You were gonna get a 4-0 sweep, like we know.
Yeah.
If
I said 5 to be nice.
Here's the story. If Washington wins a game, that's the story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything went as it should have gone.
After game 2, I made a video about the Matt Rempe show.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what we're covering it.
Rempy Mania is so fun.
It's awesome.
And also dangerous. And
Stop.
so-
Hold on. You got to stop talking about the Rangers, though.
Oh, sorry.
We don't talk about the Rangers like Fight Club.
Oh, yeah, shut up.
Let's talk about the Caps off season.
Yeah, let's talk about the Caps. I don't know what they're going to do. Edmonton, Los Angeles. Listen, Edmonton's been overpowering most of the time in this series. Is there any way LA plays extraordinarily desperate and finds some goaltending and extends this series? Or does it go the way that it should and wrap up in the next game or two?
It's been pretty low-key violent.
Yeah. They don't like each other.
No. So like injuries and wear and tear could go in LA's favor. But I mean, here's what it is. Did you see the mic'd up segment of Hyman?
No, piece of it.
It's the most terrifying thing I've ever seen if I'm a LA Kings fan. He goes, "Hey, Nuggy." He's talking to Nuge, and they're setting up a play. Hyman gets a puck, taps it in. He goes, "Woo! See? Got it. Yeah, good job, good job, good job." Then they go out, Nuggy, and they do it again. And they basically go, they can't defend it. They can't defend it in the most friendly serial killer type way ever. And then the Kings go, "All right, enough of that. We're not letting that happen again. We are going to lock it down." And they locked it down so much that Dave Rittich played an actual Stanley Cup playoff game against the Oilers and only allowed one goal. And they lost because they didn't score one. So, like, that is as good a defensive performance as you could possibly hope for,
Especially
against the Oilers.
Yeah.
And you lost.
If I threw you in a hole and you weren't allowed to watch any of these games, and,
You're throwing me in a hole.
and then I pulled you out of the hole, and I said,
What if I just calmly walked into a room that you shut?
no, it's got to be a
the
hole.
And you have to throw us.
Yeah, it's got to
Okay.
be like a toss.
All right.
Big toss into a deep hole.
And it's even higher because like he picks you up above his head.
That's
for no
right.
reason.
Yeah,
So
like
much
the Big
taller.
Show
Yeah.
throwing you over the top
Oh.
rope.
Woo!
Royal Rumble. So I throw you over the Royal Rumble into a giant hole, and I tell you, one team won game 4, 1-0, and they had 13 shots on goal. You would tell me
Good for the LA Kings winning that hockey game.
that was the Edmonton Oilers and their ability to win that game. I was like, there's no shot for the Kings.
No.
That's the Kings game that they should have won. They had 33 shots on goal to 13, and they dominated the play. And Stuart Skinner was great, and Dave Rittich was great too. And the war of attrition and defensive battle was won by the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah.
The team we expect the complete opposite from. So I don't know. I'm at a loss for words for the Kings and what they can do.
I'm
They're in
begging.
a pickle.
Yeah.
I'm begging the Oilers to finish it up, and I'm begging Vancouver to finish it up so they play each other. Because here's the thing: if Nashville wins the series, then it's going to be unstoppable force, immovable object, right? It's going to be the Nashville defense versus the Edmonton offense, and I don't like Nashville's chances.
Who did you pick in your bracket, Steve?
For who? Oilers?
Vancouver, Nashville.
The Couvs.
Oh, okay. So I'm the only one to pick Nashville. So I'm going to cheer for
Listen,
Nashville.
Wow.
That's
you
my
might have
bracket.
been Nostradamus on that because
No,
it's
Colton Sissons fucking me up.
yes.
Islanders, that's the last time I show faith in you.
Me too.
Oh man, that was
Jerks.
brutal.
Yeah, whoops. Oh, dude, from game 1, I'm like, pick might have been a mistake.
Man,
Oh, well.
Carolina crushed them. I was actually surprised, and we haven't really talked too much about it because a lot's happened since we last did our show on Sunday. The Florida Tampa Bay series was a lot less close than I thought.
Yeah.
Like
That was-
I was asking you guys before the season, before the playoffs started, are we seeing a changing of the guard in Florida? I think we just saw it.
I mean, so much respect goes to the brand name of the
Mhm.
Tampa Bay Lightning. Boy, it just wasn't there. It's just not the same magic. And the Florida Panthers are really friggin' good.
Mhm.
I don't remember how much, like what percent of the series that Sam Bennett missed, but like they're without Sam Bennett. I'm like, geez, that's a huge loss. It's really going to reduce a lot of what the Panthers are. Like that's going to screw up their forecheck. It's going to screw up their offense. It's going to screw up the intimidation factor. And they just sort of continue to steamroll the damn Lightning, man.
I forget on Twitter who called the Lightning Kucherov merchants. But I kind of thought,
Wow.
like, you know what? It's not a bad depiction of how the season went because they were able to put up a whole bunch of offense during the regular season on the back of Kucherov and being a Kucherov merchant. And Florida takes that away, and they're beatable and they're fine. You know, so I feel like Florida's just the better team at this point. And if I think we should play this fun game of how injured were they and how many minutes did they play? Because Julien Brisebois gave the report of
let's go.
Oh, was that released today?
Yeah, so this morning at 9:22, Tampa Bay Lightning beat writer Chris Kren tweeted out the list of injuries.
He's a good follow
that the Tampa Bay Lightning have. So we're going to go through and we're going to say the injury that the player had, and then we're going to look at how many minutes they played in game number 5. First up on the list, what are you looking up?
I'm looking up what an AC joint is.
So,
That's in your knee.
Chernak played with an AC joint sprain game number 2. He played within the series from game number 2 with an AC joint sprain.
And what is the AC joint? The acromioclavicular. It's your shoulder. It's your shoulder. The joint where your shoulder, the shoulder where two bones meet.
Ooh.
So Chernak, game 2, has that AC joint sprain. In game number 5, he played 20 minutes and 52 seconds.
Wow. Second on the Lightning amongst defensemen.
Let's go back. Glendening dislocated his shoulder and labral tear on April 15th.
But the labrum
April
keeps
15th.
your shoulder in place, by the way.
That's like what, 3 games left in the season? Something like that?
And in game 5, Glendening played 10 minutes and 24 seconds.
Wow.
With
And
that injury.
Right in line
Played
with what
2
he should
hits.
be. Yeah.
2 hits with a busted shoulder.
Hagel, glute strain in game 3. So he played through game 4 and 5. In game
Hockey is nearly exclusively played with your ass.
Yes, that is
Like-
the main function of skating around.
Yeah.
Hagel, 23 minutes and 52 seconds, the most amongst forwards for the Lightning.
With a strained ass.
With a strained ass.
Could have been a Leaf.
The
Could've.
other thing there, and I don't know if I'm going to earn points or lose them with like the kinesiology doctor community that listens to the show. Glute is very vague. Are we talking glute med, glute max?
Yeah.
Like what are we talking? No, because it affects different movements,
Mhm.
right? Anyway,
Johansson,
the goalie.
quad tear,
Ooh.
March 30th.
Quad tear is extremely serious, and if it requires surgery, that's a very long recovery.
Mott, broken ankle, October 11th.
How many games did he play?
I got to know.
If you want to look that
Here,
up,
I'll look it up.
I'm
I'll look it up.
just
Adam's
going back
looking
and
it
forth
up.
with this. But Tyler Mott played 11 minutes and 32 seconds in game number 5.
Broken ankle?
Is October 11th
October.
game 1?
No, that's still preseason,
Close
right?
to no. I don't think it was preseason.
He played 44.
44 games
Yeah.
this season. Broke his ankle to begin the year.
That's a solid start.
What?
So Brisebois continued. Perbix, AC joint sprain game 1. That's
So-
the second guy with an AC joint sprain.
First 2 games of the series, I think that's 2 of your right-handed defensemen. I want to say Perbix is right.
Perbix was not in the lineup for game number 5.
Well, there you go. Oh shit.
Last 2, Taylor Radish, abdominal and left hip iliac, crest contusion from a cross check in game 3.
So it's a big bruise. Big,
Well-
scary, mean, ugly looking bruise.
Difficult to pivot and turn your body.
Okay, and Taylor Radish, let's see, was not
There's
in. I don't see
Pretty
Radish.
sure another right-handed D. Or
So-
at very least another D.
Yeah, no, Radish isn't in the lineup there.
Okay.
We don't have a Radish.
Wait, which Radish? Darren Radish.
Oh, Darren Radish.
Taylor Radish is the guy on the Blackhawks,
I keep
right?
saying Taylor
Or
Radish.
he was on
but,
the Blackhawks. I don't know where he is.
Radish not in the lineup.
And
yeah.
what happened to him?
That was the one I just read.
I
Abdominal and left.
Oh, sorry.
That's
I was looking at
50.
Connor Sherry. My bad.
Yeah, Connor Shear is the last one on the list. Sorry for calling you Taylor Darren. Sherry ruptured tendon in finger on December 30th.
You know what word makes me mad uncomfortable? Ruptured.
Yeah.
That sounds so fucking painful.
He played 57 games, by the way.
Oh my God.
And none in game number 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
a
it's
depleted
that out.
lineup, man.
Yeah, but every team's dealing with this stuff, and it says a lot about the NHL that all these guys are playing with all of these injuries, and we don't know it. And then at the end of the season, they tell you about the lungs that are punctured and the joints that are sprained.
You can tell by my
battle.
reaction, like how just completely typical this is.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I hear like someone's got a busted shoulder. I'm like, yeah, they're a hockey player. Like, dude, all their shoulders are fucked up. Like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
Like, didn't Gary Roberts need like double shoulder surgery like after the Leafs 2002 run?
I don't remember, but I know that because he retired midway through his career and then came back.
That was his neck.
He had so much nerve damage in his neck, he couldn't move his arm above this. Like he couldn't move his arm above his head.
That'll screw up your shoulders as well.
Exactly.
Dude.
Exactly.
Biggest question out of the series, though, is where does Stamkos go? Does he stay in Tampa? Does he go somewhere else? Do they figure out the deal? What's going to happen there?
As far as we know, they haven't spoke to him. They're speaking to him through the media.
Yeah.
John Cooper going, oh, he belongs here.
Yeah, I think that Brisebois was pretty serious about the fact that they weren't going to talk in season. And I would not be surprised if they don't re-sign him. And I wouldn't be surprised if he thought, you know what? Like he was hanging out on the bench. You know, he was this guy. I think this might be it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that that's necessarily the wrong thing for both parties. Like, okay, so you bring Stamkos back and get more of the same. I don't think the Lightning played up to the Lightning standards. You said, Jesse, Kucherov merchants, right? Yeah. I think, by the way, I was saying that this is Nathan McKinnon's Revenant year, where he's going to get the MVP because he's just never got one. But
it's the best season he's ever had.
If anything supports Kucherov getting the Hart Trophy, it's the fact that when the Panthers isolated him, Tampa Bay disappeared.
Well, the craziest stat, Jesse, can you pull up the box score again?
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, that's dude, playoff Nick Paul.
Were you looking at minutes?
Dude, well, 12 minutes and 35 seconds, which is nothing. Dick all for Nick Paul. He was a -3.
It's rough.
He was a minus like every 4 minutes. Nick Paul?
Yeah.
We talking about the same one?
Probably every third shift.
What?
And a 44 in the faceoff dot.
That dude buried the Leafs by himself in 22.
Yeah, he was good.
What are you talking about? Panthers with another big second period out shooting the Lightning 23-12. Where have we seen that before? Jeez.
Eventually, Steve, I'm going to expect the video from you about the Tanner Jeannot trade tree. And in that video, I expect you to rank Tanner Jeannot to the Lightning as one of the worst trades in NHL history.
Has to be.
So I tried to. There's some trade content in the book.
By the way, just a quick question for you. Where does Tanner Jeannot play? Where did he play in the lineup last night?
I would assume fourth line.
Fourth line.
Dude.
List of players who played less minutes than Tanner Jeannot.
Luke Glendening.
I'm going to go with none.
I was silent because there is none.
Oh.
The least amount in terms of forwards on the
no.
Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah.
How many minutes did he play?
7 minutes. I shouldn't even say forwards. Just everybody on the lineup. He played 7 minutes and 14 seconds. Nobody played less minutes than Tanner Jeannot.
And he was -1. Just throwing that out there too.
-1.
What did you want to say?
Well, I wanted to say, so I in my book, there's some trade content and I look at some of the worst trades. I wanted to talk about this one. Here's the bad news for Lightning fans. It's going to get so much worse. It's going to get so much worse because like almost every piece of it hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
So Tanner Jeannot traded from Nashville to Tampa for Cal Foote. Wonder why the Lightning wanted to get rid of him. A 3rd round pick in 2023. That was Dylan McKinnon.
The better McKinnon.
Yes. 4th round pick in 2023. 5th round pick in 2023. 2nd round pick in 2024. And a 1st round pick in 2025.
That could slide to 2026, I believe.
Oh,
if it's because it's conditional top 10.
So Jesse's actually got more details. So I was reading off HockeyDB. This is cap friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan McKinnon, Jason Shagabe, Kevin Bicker, and a guy who's going to get picked this year and a guy who's going to get picked next year. Top 10 protected. That is a shitty ass trade.
Yeah, Julian Brisebois better like hope and pray that Dylan, Jason, or Kevin don't turn into anything, and especially that first round pick in 2025.
And the Preds are
And that
good at
second
drafting.
round pick, like, there's so much.
Remember we were talking about like should or shouldn't the Jets rebuild? Dude, we just got like a full draft class for a depth player. He had like 8 goals when that trade was made, dude.
Yep. I don't know
But
why.
they thought he was the next Hagel.
I gotta know. Yeah, like that has to be it. And I would be taking a good hard look at my pro scouting staff because listen, no.
Well, yes.
Because you had a really, really good run. You had a really incredible, almost dynasty.
Of overpaying for guys where everyone went, what? And then you won.
Yep.
They there was a moment again in my book. You're gonna hear a lot of this over the next little while. I wrote that the Lightning got 91 playoff games out of Blake Coleman and Barclay Goodrow.
Wow.
And the editor who wrote the book, there's this little tab at the side where they put like notes and questions and suggestions and stuff. And he goes, typo? And he was serious. He thought I meant 19. No, those guys combined for 91 Stanley Cup playoff games en route to back-to-back cups. They had a good run. Tanner Jeannot was a friggin' animal as a rookie. And when the Lightning got him, I went, oh, you got to be friggin' kidding me. And then I saw the price. And he was hurt last year. And I go, okay, well, maybe he was hurt. And then this season rolled around. Nope. He's just kind of not very good.
Rookie season, you were mentioning, he played 15 games in the 2020-2021 season, but the full rookie season in 21-22, 81 games, 24 goals, 17 assists, 130 penalty minutes.
Yeah, because he hit and fought everybody.
And now his contract expires at the end of next season.
Ooh.
He gave up an entire draft class for this guy.
Career playoff goals.
0.
Sorry, pulling a Jesse Blake. 0.
You've said how many there are.
Whoa. Okay. How about let's word it like this. Tanner Jeannot not only doesn't have a Stanley Cup playoff goal, he does not have a professional playoff goal. His last playoff goal was when he scored 3 goals in 13 games with the Moose Jaw Warriors of the WHL in 2018. He went to Milwaukee, nothing in 3 games. Went to Nashville, nothing in 16 games. Bad. Also, -9 in those 16 games. That's we're gonna go ahead and give that a good old oof maroon.
Yeah, they swung like big and they really missed on this one. And like what was the like good side of this? You know, you give up all of those picks, pick in every single round through 1 through 5, and you get like okay, you get an established player. Let's say he's Brandon Hagel. Is that even worth all of those picks?
He wouldn't be Brandon Hagel. What you're hoping for is you acquire the rookie Tanner Jeannot who plays hockey the way Animal from the Muppets plays the drums. Like he just a monster, just banging into everything, scoring. You are getting, I don't know, Dollar Tree Alexander Ovechkin, just a dude who is going to score goals.
Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree, I don't
Man,
know.
the Caps got Dollar Tree Alexander Ovechkin this offseason. He was bad. Sorry to distract.
No, but like a dude who's going to hit everything and can, if you get a dude who's going to lead you in hits and can score 20 goals, you go and get that player. Especially when you have the skill that the Lightning have. But
lead you in
he
hits
hasn't
and
given you
score 20 goals. I don't like. I hear that and I'm like, that's not even worth everything you gave up.
But you're the Lightning, and you're like, if you look at your recent track record, you're like, well, we got Barclay Goodrow, who was like a not really anybody, and we won. And we went and got Blake Coleman, who was fine, and we won. And like, if you're the Lightning, maybe this is why no one's won 3 straight in the Cap era. How do you not think you're right?
Well,
Like, whenever
you got to trust your staff.
Whenever you make a decision, after a while, you're going to be like, you know what? I think we're right. Yeah, but I'm sorry. And when you put your hand up to give them that little finger, like the excuse me, you have 2 rings taking up your entire rest of your knuckles.
Yeah. I have my rings plug in both my ear.
I have if you got real big Dumbo ears, because they're the size of fists now, those rings. It's just a spectacular whiff.
Yeah, undrafted player too. So it's not even like you got he was scouted great going into his draft year, and this was a first round pick that you're swapping all these picks for because you're like, we're getting the first round pick and we know what we got. Like, no, he's undrafted.
But again, if you're the Lightning, you're like, nah, we know undrafted players. We're really smart about
They are.
Like we went and we got Yanni Gourde.
Mm-hmm.
We found him. You also found Jonathan Marchessault and gave him up for nothing. It's they whiffed on this one, and it's weird. It's almost like watching Superman walking down the sidewalk and he trips and spills his coffee. Like it's just you can't even if you see it happen in front of you, you're like, did Superman just trip and spill his coffee?
Mm-hmm.
That's the equivalent. Like we all respect the Tampa Bay Lightning so much because of what they've done. They made an enormous mistake.
I think your point is very important that they have a history of nailing everything. So the one trade doesn't discredit their entire history of building an incredible roster multiple times over. But this is the one where they whiff, you know? Yeah.
I'm wondering what they do. This will be a very fascinating offseason for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Shall we? I do want to mention this. There was a lot made of the two goals that were disallowed in the final Panthers Lightning game. And then after the game, John Cooper made a comment about, should we just put the goalies in skirts? He has since come out and apologized. That was the first thing he did at the podium today. He said it bothered him that he made that comment more than losing the series. So I thought it was an important thing to mention. Came out and apologized and owned it.
It says something about his reputation that he said that, and I didn't really see anyone go, effing John Cooper. Like there was a lot of frustration, but a lot of people use the big D word, disappointed, and a lot of people said, I assume he'll apologize, and then he did. We're all gonna mess up. We got to watch the way we talk. And, that goes for everybody. And it was just, it was an unforced error. And I mean, that's the right thing to say. It bothered me more that I said that than we lost the series.
There you go. I think people are just surprised when it's him. Now let's do, should we do a press conference?
Let's do it.
Sure.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Oh, you know what? One thing I forgot to ask you guys about in the Winnipeg Jets series, Connor Hellebuyck, I guess it's his own decision, but also the Winnipeg Jets PR, they did not make Hellebuyck available post game. And Connor Hellebuyck
after the series loss.
And Connor Hellebuyck was not made available in any game except for game number 1.
That's weird.
That is the people covering that series have to make a bigger stink about that. I remember Norm Rumack, Stoneman Rumack at the Fan 590. He used to get pissed off because the Jays would make it so difficult to interview Roy Halladay. And, Roy Halladay was, this dialed in ace of a pitcher. And you could understand why he would want his privacy, but like the argument, which is a valid one, is, dude, this is your team's star.
Yeah.
You're the Jays. You're not very good. I don't know if you noticed that. Like back then, holy shit, they were awful. Like 2009? But Roy Halladay was worth watching. Be real nice to hear from Connor Hellebuyck there. I guess the only argument is, well, I'll talk to you at locker cleanup. But for him to not be available, the only game... Wait, so sorry, let me get this straight. The only game they made him available after was the one that they won?
That's right.
Yes. Connor Hellebuyck was available after game 1 and was not available after any game after that.
That's pretty weak.
Yeah.
That's weak.
You gotta be accountable to the fans. You do. Like we would be on players in Toronto for sure for not being on that, for not coming out.
Well,
especially in a series loss. You come in here. We are paying customers. This is what you want. You signed here long term. You got to come out and talk.
we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
That was from, by the way, I should mention who said that. Eric Engels had that report. Connor Hellebuyck was requested again, but didn't come out to speak following series loss. The only time he spoke was day after game one.
Like
not even like after the game on game one. It was day after game one.
So he didn't speak after any of the games then?
No.
I mean, if you're Connor Hellebuyck, it'd probably be nice to get in front of a microphone, because otherwise, what does the talking for you? The numbers and the performances, which were not good. God, at least sugarcoat it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
This we're running up on 2 hours here.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh,
well,
shit.
I'll just get this in. This is from KOH_34. Not a question, but more of a side note. Noted former Leaf Dennis Malgin just became champion in the Swiss Hockey League.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The
Let me guess,
Malgin
playoff
Hive.
MVP?
Wow.
The Malgin Hive is going crazy today.
It's crazy because isn't that where the Leafs plucked him out of?
Malgin Hive.
Right?
No, they plucked him away from the Florida Panthers.
No, they plucked. Then he went to Europe for a bit. Where'd he go?
Switzerland.
So
They didn't have to go back.
so he played with the Zurich Lions, and then he went to the Florida Panthers, and then he went to the Leafs. And then after the Leafs, or in between his stint in the
Scored
Leafs,
11 goals.
he played in the Zurich Lions, and then he played Colorado, and then now he's back in Zurich.
I'm going to beat you up. It's freaking 11 goals in 42 games with the Avs. Get out of my face.
Look at his playoff numbers.
Those are solid.
6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points in 15 games. Jesse,
Damn.
I want to play who he play with. Can you click on Zurich?
You're obsessed with
I love who he play with. So
Rudolph Balcers,
Rudolph Balcers, former NHLer. Derek Grant, former NHLer.
Mikko Lehtinen.
The other one.
Sven Andrighetto. Who did
Scott Harrington.
Yeah.
Scott Harrington.
Former Leaf.
Leaf legend. I recognize a bunch of these names. Yannick Weber.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, there's a
Former
lot
Fred.
of former. Now, there are a couple names I recognize, but I don't remember why. Can you click on Juho Lammikko?
Where's that?
There
There
he is.
Yeah.
He did play in the NHL. He was a Panther and a Canuck. I do remember this person.
75 games with the Canucks. That's a good
2 seasons ago.
NHL career. 159 games. It's not bad.
Here, go back. I want to know who.
Third round draft pick.
This is important.
What do you want?
This is the most important part of this
Mhm.
episode. No, scroll down a little bit. Who's Simon Hrubeck? I want to say he's a high draft pick. No, he is not.
he's
He is
not.
32 and undrafted.
That is somebody who played his whole career in over in Europe.
Not even sort of right.
Yeah. No.
So he's the goalie. Who's the other one? I don't know that.
Robin.
Zumbul.
That's
No, I don't think it's pronounced Zumbi there, Matty.
Zumba.
Zumbi.
Zumba.
All right.
Chick, chicky,
That's
boom.
enough
Chick,
of
chicky,
that
boom.
nonsense.
All right.
No, that was fun.
Let's wrap it up. Hey,
Smarten up.
I'm so excited. I know where Chris Ratzenberger is playing these days. So pumped. Yay.
Was that one of his teammates?
Baltisburger. Not.
Oh.
He said Ratisburger.
Ratzenberger?
Ratzenberger. That's what I thought I saw on the screen.
Baltisburger. Yeah.
Ah.
Game 6.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at AdamWYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.